Hi, Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera to Dr. Mazlana, our lecturer for Subject Management and Professional Ethics. So, my name is Fatin Nurina from Group Indigo. We'll start the presentation and we'll be presenting about our project, which is jogging activity based on our dynamic case study. So, in this presentation, there will be 5 contents that we will go through. So, the first one is the introduction of our project, followed by the definition and planning phase, methodology, result and analysis, and lastly, the discussion and conclusion. So for the abstract, project management ethics is an essential ingredient while managing projects. Ethics is defined as a set of moral principles or values which rule a person's or group's action. In other words, ethics is better understood as how we put our morals into action. So let's start with the introduction. We choose dynamic course as our project. So in this project, we did a jogging activity at specified distance, time and velocity. So we need to construct the displacement ST, velocity BT and acceleration AT versus time graphs and deliver the presentation with less than 15 minutes duration in MP4 format. The duration to complete this project is 3 weeks, starting from 1st March until 22nd of March 2020. The objectives are to analyze jogging activity, to plot displacement, velocity and acceleration time graphs based on jogging activity, and lastly, to apply good ethics and behavior for the whole project.
Okay, this group consists 5 team members, of which I am the group leader, Nur Ain Arina as the secretary, Nurul Nafisah as a technical manager, Fatin Nurina as data analysis manager, and Rafidah as data analysis assistant manager. For this project, we have decided to divide the roles of team members into 2 main tasks, which is for the dynamic case study and the report writing. This first table shows the role of each member in dynamic case study assignment. Task number 1 until number 5 are the main role of each member as I mentioned in previous slide. Tasks from number 6 until number 24 are the tasks that have been assigned to each member by the team leader. In this second table, it shows the tasks that have been assigned to each member to prepare the report writing project based on the dynamic case study. Not only the main point for the report, it also includes the meeting that need to be held throughout the project. In planning phase, we start from creating the baseline plan of the project. A baseline plan is an obviously characterize the beginning stage for the project plan. It is a picture of the project that can be seen in just one page, so that all of the members that involved in the project will get the clear picture of what will going on. From our baseline plan here, we can see almost all of the information about the project we can see in just one page, starting from the project name, dynamic case study, project manager, problem or opportunity statement. So here are the problem statement or the problem that we are going to solve, the project objectives, the project description. So in the project description is a brief description of how the project will be carried out, the project deliverable or the result that we are expected, the expected result that we can get after finishing the project, and the estimated project duration. Referring to the baseline plan that has been done before, a work breakdown structure or WBS has been constructed to show the hierarchy of tasks required to complete the project. The tasks of the project needs to be done in sequence, whether it is necessary to complete one task before starting another or can be done simultaneously. The work breakdown structure or WBS allow others to refer the progress of each task because the progress will be marked in each timeline. We can see the WBS on the next slide after this. So here are the chart that has been used to control the project flow. So as we can see on the left side here, here are all the lists of tasks that has been discovered in the work breakdown structure. We have grouped all the tasks into 6 main tasks, which is receive case title, setup, training session, recording session, calculation, and physical results. Under each main task, there are other subtasks. For example, for the setup, there are lists of material, prepare material, identify suitable place, and assign recording session role or actor for the dynamic case study project. So on the right side here, we can see the Gantt chart. So here, there are the date and the day. So here we can set when we must start and finish all the main tasks and the subtasks. So for example, here are the period to finish the setup. Okay, the light blue line here are the period for the subtask. Okay, so for example, list of material must be done on 3rd March. And after settle list of material, we must do the prepare of material on the 4th March. So here we can see that these two tasks can be done on the same date. That is, identify suitable place and assign recording session role. So if we see the blue line here, it will show the progress of the project that has been done. The progress will mark with a slightly darker blue color. So the project manager will mark the line here and it will show whether it is 50%, 70% or 100% settled. Okay, this Gantt chart is very useful to control the project progress, as every team member can see the progress that has been settled, has been done. So the team member can update their progress in this chart too. Okay, this chart is very important to control the workflow and can be a guide so that the project will finish on time.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Rafidah binti Ibrahim. I will explain about methodology. Okay, there are 4 step method, which is this method used to evaluate this project and to achieve our objective. Okay, this 4 step method is planning, information, making and finishing. Okay, for the planning there are 2 sub steps under planning, which is brainstorming and risk identification. Okay, brainstorming. After we got the case study title for building AT graph, ST graph and VT graph from jogging activity, brainstorming was done to generate more ideas about this project among our group members. So we need to set the goals, strategies and develop plans. Then we determine the needs for this project to be clearly understood among our group members. Okay, next is risk identification. Okay, the risks were identified based on the brainstorming session to avoid project failure. Therefore, all possible risks to this project were identified while brainstorming session. Okay, the next step is information. Okay, we getting information by doing research about the graph. Some research has been done deeply about the AT graph, ST graph and VT graph. All the information gathered to produce a set level project. Okay, next step is making. Making also have 4 sub steps under making, which is arrange tasks and duration, find the needs to make the project, start recording and arrange graph using suitable formula. Okay, for the arrange task and duration,
The procedure has been documented and tasks assigned to each member, as well as the duration of project completion. It was scheduled into Gantt chart with the help of Microsoft Project. Okay, next is find the needs to make the project. Okay, we choose the runner and find the suitable place to run the experiment. Also, we prepare the tools used during the project. Okay, next is start recording. After finding the suitable place, it has been set up with position of runner on her running track with 6 different checkpoints, which is each point is 3 meter length for different velocity. Once the setup done, we switch to training session for runner and recording training as well. After that, we record the movement of jogging and take the time taken from point to point. We repeat the recording until we satisfy the jogging pattern and video recorded. The time taken has been recorded in the table given. Okay, next and last for in the step making is arrange graph using suitable formula. Okay, after we got the time taken and based on the timetable, we build the graph based on AT graph and AT graph, VT graph and ST graph formula. Okay, the last method is finishing. Okay, finishing, we identify the problem encountered during the experiment, we analyze the performance and test with formula, and then we write the report and case study has presented.
Okay, next is project development process. Okay, we use quantitative method for this project because this method is to determine the relationship between AT graph, VT graph and ST graph. Quantitative method deals in number, logic and application. It focuses on numeric and unchanging data and detailing during the case study and get variety of idea about the case study problem as in application in our daily life like jogging activity. Okay, we use subject dynamic course case study as our project, which is to build AT graph, VT graph and ST graph from jogging activity. Okay, in this dynamic case study, instruction was given where we need to choose one student to jog in a straight line for 6 different points but with same distance, which is 3 meter, and total distance is 15 meter. Also, in straight line from A to B to C to D to E to F has different velocities. At point A to B must be constant velocity. From point B to C must be increasing velocity. Next is point C to D is constant velocity, D to E is decreasing, and E to F is constant velocity. Then we need to measure the length and time followed by calculation to plot the AT graph, VT graph and ST graph for our jogging activity. Okay, in this method, we use graph, table and calculation to solve this case study to achieve the objective. Okay, the result will be proven by the graph and will show the theory of each graph deeply. Okay, this method will collect data with more efficient and able to identify the relationship between graph, also help fill gaps in understanding this project.
We continue with workflow. Workflow used to form a procedure and to discover approach to improve the project proficiency. And workflow is graphically show the project goals and allow us to view the entire project journey. It's also help us to keep on the track of the progress and status detail of the project. Let me see our workflow here. So we start with identify our title and objective. So at first we are agreed to make a site visit but need to change due to COVID-19. So we get idea to take dynamic course assignment. So After that, we redo the new title and objective. Then we proceed to make a decision to continue with division of duty for each team member. At this, we proceed with a briefing about the procedure that will be occur in our project. After the main thing was clear, we discuss about the requirement throughout the project and searching a suitable place for the jogging activity. We proceed with the recording training season while be done and continue with the performing suitable jogging pattern while recording. This part is very difficult because it's not easy to get accurate jogging pattern with the suitable time taken and data. So we take many time video to get a best result. If the jogging pattern was incorrect, the jogging movement will be done until jogging pattern we get the suitable one. Means we'll keep repeating do until we get the suitable one. After that, we proceed to extract the result, and if the result data is incorrect, we need to do back, and after all be done, we'll make a calculation and video for our presentation. That's all.
Okay, next is theory of motion. Okay, theory of motion is defined of change in position of an object with respect to time. Okay, in a motion, it will involve change in position, displacement, velocity, and acceleration. This change will be recorded so that the graph of displacement, velocity, and acceleration against time can be built up. Okay, for the AT graph, okay, acceleration is pace of change in velocity of a particle. It is a vector amount. Okay, the AT graph formula is A equal to dv per dt. Okay, acceleration can be positive, which is speed increasing, or negative, speed decreasing. Okay, next is VT graph. Okay, VT graph is velocity is a proportion of the pace of change in situation of particle, which is formula for VT graph is V equal to ds per dt. Okay, for the ST graph is the position of the particle at any moment relative to the origin is defined by the position vector scalar. Okay, from the figure below, okay, for the ST graph, displacement getting more positive, which is the graph will increasing like this. Okay, for the VT graph, there will be a straight line. Okay, and for the AT graph, they will be like this. Okay, that's how to draw the graph. Okay, next is tool use that we use in this project. Okay, first thing first, we use masking tape that we use to mark the distance to each point. Okay, then marker pen that we use to write on masking tape, and then measuring tape. We use to measure the point 3 meter each and total distance 50 meter. Okay, and then we use water bottle to work as a checkpoint signs. Okay, and then we use camera phone, which we use to record the whole jogging movement. Okay, and then stopwatch to measure the time for each different point, and then mahjong paper used for presentation in a class about the case study, and last A4 paper used to write down the time taken in the table while the recording. Okay, next is approach of the project. Okay, in this project we use method recording is use camera phone to record. Also we use stopwatch for the time taken. We compare the time taken from the video recording and time taken from the stopwatch.
Okay, and then we finalized that we must use the stopwatch because more accurate and have more decimal points. Okay, and then we collect data from time taken to fill in the table to build the graph. Okay, during the experiment, we found that the time taken for the movement of jogger for each point was so different from our theory. So the time taken was not logic, which at the end of constant velocity to the increasing velocity, it take few seconds late from our expecting time. Okay, so we decide to hold the training session and recording to reduce some error. Okay, besides, we ask the jogger which jogger needs to warm up her body to avoid muscle cramp during the training session and recording session. And then the checkpoint signs helps the jogger a lot during the experiment because the jogger notice when she start running and change the velocity when she see the checkpoint, she can change her velocity at the time. Okay, and last, after a few take of training record, the experiment was success and we finalized the breath recording and jogging pattern that can relate to the theory.
Hi, my name is Nur Ain Arina and I will continue with result and analysis. Okay, for this case study, the instruction for the case study has given as one student is required to jog or run in a straight line from point A to B to C to D and to F at different velocity, where A to B are at constant velocity, B to C at increasing velocity, C to D at constant velocity of C, D to E at decreasing velocity, and E to F at constant velocity of E. So in this case study, we have set our distance equal to 15 meters, which is 3 meters each, where A to B is equal to BC, equal to CD, equal to DE, and equal to EF. And from the video that we have recorded, we have time taken at each point, which is TAB is equal to 1.16 second, TBC is equal to 0.85 second, which is equal to C and D because they are at constant velocity, and CDE is equal to 1.303 second, which is equal to time taken for EF. So this is the distance, this is the graph ST, which is distance over time graph, and we can see here they are in a straight line, which is the distance and the time are directly proportional, so the time will increase when the distance is increased. Okay, from the data given above, we need to find the velocity, which is we use the formula of velocity v equal to ds over dt, and we put in a table like this. So when as we can see here in the table, there are distance and time and velocity. So the distance and time we just fill in the velocity formula, and we will get all the velocity for all the checkpoints. When we get all the velocity at every checkpoint, we need to draw the VT graph. After we get the velocity, we need to draw the VT graph. As we can see beside this, this is the VT graph. So from here is the AB checkpoint to BC checkpoint, which is it increase because we run at zero velocity to some point, so it increase the velocity. So from BC to CD, the velocity are the same, which is the velocity are constants, while at CD to DE, it changed from 3.529 meter per second to 2.913 meter per second. So it decreased. Where from the question also said that from D to E at decreasing velocity. So the velocity here, DE and EF is equal, which is they are at the constant velocity. So this is why the VT graph looks like. Okay, after we have done with our VT graph, we need to find the acceleration using the acceleration formula, which is A equal to dv over dt. So we just need to fill in the table where it consists velocity, time, and accelerations. So for checkpoint AB, there is a constant velocity which is equal to 0. So there is no accelerations because 0 over 1.16 is equal to 0. So the acceleration is 0. So however, for BC there is an increasing velocity which is 3.529 meter per second. So we just need to fill in the formula, and we will get the accelerations equal to 4.152 meter per second square. But for CD, it's the same as AB and EF, which is the velocity is constant, so the acceleration also is 0 here. EF also is 0. But for DE, there are an decreasing velocity, which is 2.913 meter per second. So when we fill in, we will get 2.828 meter per second square for the accelerations. So after we get these accelerations, we need to draw the AT graph, like at beside this. So as we can see at the graph, the AB is constant, so the BC is increasing because it at increasing velocity, but the DE is decreasing, which is its negative accelerations because it is a decreasing velocity. So this is the graph looks like. Okay, all the three graphs that I have shown here were made by Microsoft Excel. So we can draw our graph at Microsoft Excel. So yeah, thank you. Next, we will go through the case study analysis, which is in this analysis it consists two methods, which is documentation method and qualitative method. The documentation method, we use this method to analyze the data, which is our actor were running at the ground floor at block B to get the data of this case study, and the data was recorded by video recording on a mobile phone, and some of other members also taking notes as a further backup. So second method is a qualitative method, which is in this method it consists 5 steps. This is the same step as how we want to get the result as before, which is the first one is we need to draw the ST graph based on the distance and time that we have get, and from the data we can find the velocity, which is using the formula of V equal to ds over dt, and by this data we can draw the vt graph. By this second data also we can find the acceleration using the formula a equal to dv over dt, and from the acceleration we can use the data to draw the at graph.
Okay, at first we choose to make a site visit for our project task. We start to complete our definition phases and indentation phases. After we proceed with the planning, the workflow and strategy to complete this project. But after we contribute, all team members contribute to get idea and strategy, we need to change the title because we have due to pandemic COVID-19, we have changed the topic of the project as we were not allowed to go for site visit. So we need to do back the first step, which is initiation phase, definition phase back, and one of our team member have give idea to take dynamic course assignment as our new topic. This issue is very bother us to get a clear imagination how to relate the dynamic course assignment to our project. But after we make a meeting through Google Meet and redo the workflow, we get the clear picture how to do the project, and we discuss the role of each member and make as dynamic course assignment as our guide and reference to complete our project. Secondly, one of our team member has a bad internet connection at her home, and it's difficult to communicate with team. It also disrupt on continue further discussion with other members. We take initiative to discuss also in WhatsApp, so she also can attend the meeting. The third one is during on working dynamic course assignment, the experiment need to do a ST graph, VT graph and AT graph must build from a jogging activity. The designated person is required to jogging starting line from A to B to C to D to E and to F at different velocity. The jogging movement must be done continuously between point to maintain the requirement velocity. Our video need to be record continuous from A to B and increase velocity at point B to C and point C to D at a constant velocity that of C. Decrease velocity at D to E and point E to F with constant velocity. Here becomes a problem because different jogging pattern will difficult to get accurate timing for the runner to complete the requirement different speed. So for this problem an issue, we try to solve with idea come up to keep recording all the jogging trials until the best timing achieved with the suitable jogging pattern. It's really hard for us to get accurate logical timing and logical jogging pattern and logical data to relate all the requirement. That's all for discussion.
So in conclusion, this project has successfully meeting the main objective of the project, which is to plot the displacement ST, velocity VT and acceleration AT versus time graphs based on jogging activity. Secondly, ethical behavior that have been applied in managing these projects are cooperation from group members, fairness in dividing works, and also responsibility of each member in completing the project. Last but not least, personal and professional ethics influence each other and imply individual character. Thus, being ethical is an end in itself so that the end goals are met. So that's all from our group Indigo. Thank you.